Andy, what a night last night. What a night. It's so much excitement, so much energy, and has nothing to do with the debate because there was no energy, Andy. But happy Friday, Andy. It's been a long
Yeah.
week.
It has been. Friday couldn't come fast enough this week, I don't think, Dave. It was a good week. I enjoyed the week. Can't believe we're closing out the month of June. But man, what a stinker way to end the week with that debacle of last night. But it is a happy Friday because, Dave, despite some strange men's comments, we live in the greatest nation on earth, and I'm still very grateful and proud to be an American. And despite what some orange men might say, it still is a great country and a great place to be, even on a tired Friday morning.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah, we can get a whole new separate discussion on that alone. But Andy, we are coming up on July 4th.
Yeah.
I know we've got a lot of challenges. Everybody does, right? I mean, in so many different ways, uh, this increased globalization has allowed us to, I think we should be able to fully appreciate where we're at. I think when I was in Mexico a couple of weeks back, and you dutifully took over the podcast for a couple of days, um, I came away with like, man, like we really have so much opportunity here, and I think that's why so many people want to come to our country. Like you see, and again, nothing against Mexico; it's a beautiful country, a lot of great traditions and history there. Um, and I don't mean this specific to Mexico. It's just like, but we do. We have so much. I mean, I have felt the same thing when I was in Costa Rica or overseas. I mean, we have so much here, and we should be thankful for that because this is a great democracy, and in a couple months we'll be able to choose peacefully, knock on
Maybe.
wood, right?
Yeah,
Peacefully, we'll be
maybe.
able to choose our leader.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, next week's a big week, Dave. In addition to my George Washington's birthday rants I like to go on every year, the one I'm a big fan of is celebrating July 2nd, right? That's the old celebrations John Adams, wrote after the group agreed to independence, right? They voted for independence on July 2nd, and he wrote down in his diary or in a letter to his wife, I can't recall which one, how we'd celebrate July 2nd, for generations to come with fireworks and celebrations. And he was off by 2 days because we celebrate the signing of the document versus the passing of the document. But we declared independence on July 2nd. So really, I'm fine with July 2nd and July 4th being a 3-day national holiday in celebration of our freedom, our independence, the greatness of this country. Like that's Dave, when I'm king of Virginia, I will proclaim a 3-day independence celebration, to celebrate this great nation and everything from John Adams' July 2nd celebration to Thomas Jefferson's 4th of July celebration. It's an exciting week. This still is the greatest nation on earth, without a doubt.
Will you also make the roads 15 miles an hour, Andy?
Dave, you saw that. So, for those that aren't aware, Virginia now is allowed to lower local street speed limits to 15 miles an hour. Dave, I appreciate the idea of this, right? To make our streets safer for children and others. But we need to go the other way. We need to increase the speed limits in Virginia, not just decrease them. So I'm fine with going down to 15 in localities, bump the highways up to 85 to 90. Let's do this right. So one more thing I'll do, Dave, as governor, you have it now. I will raise the speed limits across the state, Dave. So
There we go.
yeah,
There.
yeah. These are my promises to the American people.
I can, God, it's hard to believe that like 55 used to be the national law, right? I mean, how crazy is that? So I'm glad we have states that do differently. Okay, Andy, let's get into our 3x7s for this Friday. Let's wrap up the week strong. Let's get after it. We're going to do a sports check-in, Andy.
Good.
We'll start with your love, soccer, Andy. The
Yeah.
Euros are going pretty well, I think. I mean, did you see? There's been a couple big upsets there.
Yeah.
Portugal lost to Georgia, not the state of Georgia, but the country of Georgia. That's my running joke. I think everyone's running joke, but Georgia upset Portugal. They didn't advance though. Portugal did, I think. Still, how's England doing, Andy?
So England's lined up to play on Sunday, 3 o'clock on Sunday, I believe, and they got where they needed to get to, but it wasn't done in the way that anybody would have wanted. I mean, England has not played exciting soccer. They have not been punching goals in the net. They have not been aggressive. The 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 manager, the coach of the England team, has been in the hot seat with fans for a long time. because he has not gotten that team to perform well, and a lot of people believe this is one of the best England teams in a long, long time. A lot of talent on that team, and just I mean they're getting it done, but not in a way that the fans want. So England needs to come alive. They're in the easier half of the Euros tournament. I think they've got an easier path to the championship than anybody else right now. Not an easy path because there's no easy road to victory in that tournament, but definitely easier than some of their opponents are facing. So I'm hoping for them to do well, but then back here, Dave, in the Americas, well, we've got the Euros going on, overseas. We've got Copa America happening right here. And yesterday, I can't say a shocker, but maybe, the U.S. drew a red card early against Panama, dropped the game 2-1, and like advancing to the tournament is now at risk. Like it's at risk. We were not supposed to lose this game. We've got a much harder game coming up. Um, you know, I don't know. I don't know. We're going to see what happens. The U.S. could be in for a Copa America shocker, which would be greatest win because the U.S., like England, is believed by many to be fielding maybe the most talented team we've had maybe ever, and we're not getting it done. Red card at the I think it was like 18th minute doesn't help. You're playing a man down for most of the game. You're probably going to lose, but it was a tough one last night. So all that, Dave, in the world of soccer slash football. But positively, we're almost within 70 days of the NFL starting, and positively, an exciting story coming out of the NBA.
Well, let's go back real quick on the Copa Americana.
Yeah,
So again, this is the a couple years back, the United States didn't qualify for the World Cup. They
yeah,
made a lot of changes. There's been a lot of discussions about the way soccer is being structured here. They try to emulate the European model, all that other stuff. We have world, players playing on the world stage. And yet we lose a 2-1 to Panama. Not to say Panama is not a good team; they're always a tough team, but the red card definitely hurt. And now they have to play Uruguay, who
yeah.
is like they're one of the top teams. I
Top
mean, so
team.
and if they don't, they can't advance, and so I think that's going to be a really struggle. But to your point, let's transition. And hey, by the way, on the Euros, just real quickly, my adopted favorite team is Germany. I mean, I was in Germany in 2012 when they were on the World Cup. That was one of the
Yeah,
most amazing experiences I've seen. Just the way that they embrace watching it in every town and village. You have the big screen set up in the middle of the town square. I always love the German town. So they're coming out strong. I mean, they're
yeah. They
two
look great. They look
two
great.
wins and one draw. They're pummeling teams, it seems like. But good luck to Germany and to our loyal listener in Germany who is dutifully cheering as well. So,
Yeah,
Andy,
they're playing great. I mean, they're in a strong position to win, and to win at home would be just tremendous. So Germany's definitely got a great chance to do that. But they've got, like I said, a tough half in the tournament to
yeah,
get through. They're going to be playing some good teams, and that plays to England's advantage because they're going to be in a lot better shape, I think, coming out. But enough soccer, enough soccer.
yeah. I mean, the Euros is a freaking brutal. I
Yeah,
mean, like you look at some of the teams there, and you're like, oh my God, and this is just in one table. So, okay, Andy, let's go to LeBronny James.
yeah,
He got drafted yesterday in the NBA draft. We none of us watched, but everybody was watching the storylines, Andy.
yeah,
So he got drafted 55 by the Lakers and now uniting the father-son duo, which everybody was predicting for weeks. Andy, LeBron James never wasn't a conference player of the year, didn't make an all conference team as a high school player. Went to USC, averaged 5 points a game at USC, decided to leave after his first year, not to transfer to another school to get maybe more playing time or to increase his draft stock, but to enter the NBA draft. Um, and his dad has said as of last year, a year and a half ago, when some of the stuff was that LeBronny James or Bronny James was better than some NBA players today, and
yeah.
so now he's going to get his chance. Andy, nepotism. What do you think here?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I
Do we
think
care? Do we care? I
no,
mean,
no,
yeah,
we don't. I mean, it is going to go down. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, right? I mean, I know there's the LeBron Jordan debate, right? Who's really the best? LeBron's had an incredible career. He's lasted a long time. He's won a lot, and the fact he's going to get to walk on the court and play with his son, never happened before in the NBA. I don't think in any professional sports league. It's awesome, right? I mean, how awesome for him to be able to do that, to play pro basketball on the same team with his son. Pretty amazing, moment. The NBA is going to milk it for all it's worth. The Lakers are going to milk it for all it's worth, and they should. Congratulations to Bronny and LeBron. It's a super exciting moment, a historical moment. Is Bronny, the number 55, best player in the nation, coming out of the NBA? I think most people say probably not. Would he have been drafted if LeBron wasn't his dad? I think a lot of people say maybe not, but really, who cares? Like, it was supposed
Yeah.
to be a pretty weak NBA draft class. He made it. Nepotism, probably. Is it a great storyline? Is it a great thing for the NBA? Yeah, it is. It's awesome. So, congratulations to the family. And for Bronny, go out there and prove the world wrong. Show him that you are a great basketball player. I mean, that's his opportunity.
Yeah, look, people are haters gonna hate, hate, hate,
Yes.
hate, hate Andy. I mean, to coin a Taylor Swift phrase, but just the way it goes, I'm gonna stop the timer just as I wrap up this point. But um, they're gonna hate Andy no matter what, and it doesn't matter. But here's the great thing about where he's at right now. Prove it. Like
Yeah.
show us.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you are who you think you are, then go out and show it. And the good thing about the NBA is if you don't make it, if you're not capable, you're going to be out. I mean, that's going to be the bottom line. And so you have an opportunity now. You either take advantage of it or not. So all right, Andy, let's go to our next comment here. Good sports check-in. Andy, let's go to the debate. Did you watch first?
I did. I did, and I'll say, Dave, I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I wasn't planning to, didn't enjoy it, but I'm glad that I saw it with my own eyes and got to process it completely, myself.
Okay, so I didn't. I did through the socials. I was watching the clips and the stuff. Um, I will tell you. Look, I mean, of course, each side is going to pull out where they want to pull out. They're going to be talking through it today ad nauseum. Um, Biden didn't look good, Andy. I mean,
Yeah.
and look, I mean, Trump is in full regalia, right? He's embraced. Everything was great when I was president, and everything sucks now. I mean, we
Yeah.
knew that's the storyline, right? No facts, no evidence, none of that stuff. But Biden doesn't look good, and let's just call it what it is, Andy.
Yeah, and I think people are, right? And I think
Yeah,
and that's the easy storyline. I'm going to be honest. I think uh, it's the easy storyline, and I think the networks really failed because they were so stuck on it. To be honest, right? They got so fixated on his crap performance that I think a much bigger story was missed, right? So I'll say a couple of things. If one, yeah, Biden he's an old man, right? Grandpa Joe. We've said it a lot, but to watch him on stage, say for whatever it was, an hour and 40 minutes, whatever it was, like it was hard, it was painful, and he when he spoke, right? I mean, I've been very open. I disagree with the Democratic Party and Joe Biden on a lot of issues at their core in the sense of like I don't agree with their spending. I don't agree with some of the ways they approach things, but there's also a lot that I do agree with. And Joe Biden did like speak to his successes and positions well, but it was so weak and disconnected. I mean, it was just really rough, right? So I think on the statements he made, he spoke well, but it wasn't effective, and he looked like just so worn out, so old. I mean, nobody looked at him and said, "That's the man who's going to be in the White House for the next 4 years." I mean, you put any viable Democrat up there, Pete Buttigieg, the governor of Maryland, the governor of Michigan, the governor of Colorado, they win the election. Like they hands down win the election, and Biden just looked so worn out. And that's the easy storyline. But Dave, there's a much bigger story that I think isn't getting fully appreciated, which I don't think is going to get picked up in clips and sound bites because it wasn't any one thing that Trump said. It was everything that he said. And I can come back to that, but let me give the ball back before I rant on the absolute shit show that is Donald Trump.
Yeah, I'll get just look. You go across the headlines, and they're going to just speak the same things. And I'll let you go into your rant because this goes into it. But CNN is their lead is Why won't it come up now? But their lead was Biden's disastrous, Biden's poor showing and Trump's repeated falsehoods. Biden's disastrous debate pitches his reelection into crisis. The Washington Post says Biden struggles, Trump deflects questions. The BBC, Biden stumbles at very first presidential debate as Trump avoids key questions. Again, I think this is where you're going to go with Trump, the repeated falsehoods. But like, look, the question has to be asked, and it's not too late for Democrats. Do you pull the plug on this thing? Short answer, Andy, because I know you want to rant on other things, but do you think they pull the plug?
I don't think they do. I think they might. I don't
Yeah,
think they will pull the trigger at the end. I think they're seriously asking the question right now, and I think it's possible. I didn't think it was really possible before. I think it's really possible. I think when Joe Biden goes back and sees his performance, like he might reconsider, honestly speaking. So I
yeah.
think it's possible. I don't think it'll happen. Um, but I mean, like last night was really bad for him.
This is where he's at today, Andy. Father Time is
Yeah,
undefeated, Andy. It's
yeah,
going to get worse.
yeah.
So I don't know how anybody can sit there and say, look, I can appreciate your service to the country. Joe, you did some great laws and passed some great things with the infrastructure bill. That will go down as one of the great accomplishments. But Andy, it's got to go. So Andy, let's talk about the shit show, Andy.
All right, so I'm gonna blow up our time, Dave. I'm just telling you now.
Yep,
I'm
go
gonna blow up
for
our
it.
time. Look, Trump, whether he believes the bullshit that comes out of his mouth or not, whether he's delusional or just a consistent liar, the reality that he is selling is completely 100% not the reality that is the United States of America. His perception and his continuous rant about America being a third world nation, a debacle. He talked about illegal immigrants coming across the border and killing Americans in the streets, Dave, by the hundreds of thousands, he said. I mean, if you listen to Donald Trump and his comments on crime and what's happening in this country, you would believe that it's dangerous to leave your home and a bloodbath on the streets of America, which is just completely bullshit, right? I mean, the crime is down, life is good. He talked about inflation. He talked about of grocery prices tripling and quadrupling over the last few years. Like, like, get out of here, right? I buy groceries every week for my family. I'm spending maybe I think $50 to $70 more than I used to pre-pandemic, right? There is inflation. Things did go up in price. It hurts, right? But tripling or quadrupling in price, I'm not spending fucking $2,000 at the grocery store every weekend, right? Like it's not real. He talked about taxes quadrupling on the American people. Not even close, right? Taxes. Joe Biden does not like painfully raise taxes on most Americans, right? Whether you believe the tax increases or not, it's just a complete fabrication. And he's so would not answer a question, right? Went to his talking points, which is border security. America's a third world nation. I'm going to fix everything before I even get into office, right? We talked about his relationship with world leaders and how he's going to, get Russia out of Ukraine and free Americans being held captive before the inauguration, Dave, right? And then, remarkably to me, and this was, I think it's been missed in the comments, but he took the term, right? As you know, I'm half Lebanese, half Palestinian. He took the term Palestinian, agree with or disagree with the Palestinian protests. And I've got strong feelings on this, Dave, and no love lost for the protesters. Believe me, I think you've heard me say that before. He used the term Palestinian as a negative term, right? He referred to Joe Biden. He said he's a Palestinian as a negative statement, right? You can't like hey, he's a dirty Canadian, he's a dirty Mexican or dirty whatever. Like you can't. Nobody speaks that way. The guy, he's arrogant. He's full of shit. He said nothing of substance. It was just like random talking points about the border and crime and a disconnected reality. It was miserable to watch. So yeah, Joe Biden, like I felt sorry for Joe Biden. I felt sorry for America watching Joe Biden. But Trump is an absolute disaster. He's awful. I mean, I did not fully appreciate how old Joe Biden was, like physically, nor how much of a ranting lunatic Donald Trump is till I saw yesterday. And to me, that's a much bigger story because Joe Biden is not a threat to the United States of America. Donald Trump's a genuine threat to this country. He is terrible. And honestly, Dave, the winner yesterday, RFK Jr. and Chase Oliver were the winners last night because if those guys go and try and get on the ballot and just say, hey, look, like really, are those the choices you want? People will sign the freaking petition and get them on the ballot whether they still need to gain access. Like they were the two biggest winners only because those two, Trump and Biden, were so bad. I watched it with my family, and we were all just shell shocked by what we saw yesterday in both candidates. I mean, poor Uncle Joe, and fuck me, Donald Trump is absolutely awful. I didn't like him going in. I genuinely cannot stand that man. I cannot stand that man.
Yeah, I mean, it's worthy of a debate rant, Andy. I want to cover one other thing too here is, I mean, again, another big thing for him was blaming other people for January 6th at the Capitol. Articulating again all these things that have been these things that he says have been proven false,
Yeah,
have been discredited in every way, shape, or form. Yet he continues to repeat them over and over. And Andy, we're blowing out that third segment. We're not going to go to a
yeah,
third,
yeah,
a 3x7 here. But the repeated emphasis on these, and that he's doubling down, tripling down, and quadrupling down on these. Yeah, this is just amazing. Here's one line, Andy. On January 6th, we had a great border. That's wrong. On January 6th, we were energy independent. That's wrong.
yeah,
We had the lowest taxes ever and the lowest regulations ever. Andy, just because you overturned a lot of regulations doesn't mean that it's better. And the lowest taxes ever, I would again strongly disagree with that. Just because you gave people a couple $100 and put your name on it, Donald J. Trump, doesn't mean that people were doing better, Andy. I think in the contrary, taxes have been shown to go up as a result of all the tax cuts that were put in place. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world, and then he comes in and we're laughed at. I think actually the way it worked was the other way around. We
yeah,
were laughed at all over the world because of the policies that Donald Trump was putting in place. And then when Biden came in, they were like, thank God, a little stability here. We don't have the rants at 1 o'clock in the morning and injecting ourselves with bleach or shoving things up our ass, Andy. So again, I think the American people, I think, Andy, you said it last week. Look, you need to go out and vote. You need to vote for the person that you genuinely believe in. But I have to tell you, like, these two candidates fucking suck.
yeah,
And this is, I mean, making America great has nothing to do with these two guys, and I think we really need to consider. I mean, Donald, look, I think it is going to be an important point. Do RFK Jr. and Chase Oliver, do they benefit from this? Do people start signing the petitions and getting them on? They have a short window, Andy. It's not going to be. It has to happen now. But I'll be genuinely interested to see if the Democrats don't pull the plug here. This is not good in any way, shape, or form. Yes, you don't want to overreact, but you got another debate to go through. You're going to do this one more time. And then, I mean, that's it's not too late at the convention, Andy. I've been calling for it from the beginning. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, like you're saying, I mean, if there were any other candidate for either party, I mean,
yep.
if Nikki Haley was the nominee, she would win the election. And you know what? She would have stood there on that stage, I think, with Joe Biden yesterday, and debated him respectfully, right? She would have come at him, but she would have respected him as, I mean, an elder statesman that's led this country for the last 4 years. Complete disrespect from Donald Trump. And again, Joe Biden, I'll give him credit, Dave. He had his punchy lines and comments and responses, but this isn't the same man that stood, in debating 4 years
Yeah.
ago. The office of the presidency wears out every person that's been in that office. Obama, W, Clinton, none of them look the same 4 and 8 years later as they do going in. And while we all age, like they age much more rapidly while they serve. It's just an incredibly demanding job, and it's kicked Joe Biden's ass. So he was. I mean, he
Yeah.
came back and went at Trump, but it was like so weak, and his facial expression was so like not impressive. Like he just didn't look good. Couldn't fight well, right? He's still intelligent. He's still punchy. He's just old as shit. You know what I mean? So, but any other Democrat up there, right? One of these successful governors, a Gen X candidate, a millennial candidate, like they win the election hands down, like without a doubt, right? So, I mean, again, I don't think it's going to happen, but could it happen? It could, and for the interest of the Democratic Party, like it probably should, because I don't know if Joe Biden. I don't know that he's going to win. I don't know that I can't imagine the majority of Americans voting for Donald Trump. Like I genuinely cannot see that. I don't think either man gained a voter last night. Right? Neither man gained a voter last night. They only maybe lost voters or got people that will not vote. So I don't think Trump won any Biden voters yesterday. I don't think Trump won any undecided voters yesterday. I just don't think Biden did either. Like nobody converted to the Biden camp that was a Trumper. And I don't think anybody that was undecided was like, oh, I've got to vote for Joe Biden. But at the same time, maybe because if you listen to Donald Trump, you're like I cannot vote for that man. Like nothing he says is true. Like maybe Biden did win, and I think the polls will play that out in the next few days. Like for the instant takeaway of Biden's age and weak performance, maybe Americans do look at that and say, like, wow, there's no way I can vote for Donald Trump. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the American people say. But man, oh man, it was a sad night for America.
All right, Andy. Well, we don't want to end on a like an angry note.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with where you're at. Let me just hit to you two with two other things, Andy, on a historical front. Today, do you know what today is, Andy?
Friday, June 28th.
Okay, it's 1914. It's the anniversary of the assassination that kicked off
Oh
uh,
wow.
World War One. Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria and his wife Sophie were shot to death in Sarajevo. Andy, one of your favorite U2 songs
Yeah. Yeah.
that started World War One. So that's a historical note. Andy, it also I think we've talked about gaming before. You know, you a little bit. We talked Street Fighter, right? Atari, they're their 50th anniversary. They're getting up. They're releasing a new um update. I
Yeah.
love the Atari, even though the graphics were terrible. I still remember the first Atari I got, the 2600, and plugged it into my grandparents' house and tried to play Combat or Pitfall. I love those games. And they're coming out with a new 50th anniversary edition with some new games in there. This is one of those things I might want to get, Andy. So I don't know.
Yeah, so the Atari system's cool. I looked at the only thing there. So my son, I looked at because I was tempted. I was like, this would be an awesome basement item to have. But they kept out some of the biggest games like Pac-Man, Space
Yeah.
Invaders, not included. So that was a little challenging for me. So, but I'll be honest, I was like I want to have this thing in my basement along with our foosball table, and like it would be super fun. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But I thought you mentioned Franz Ferdinand. So one. I didn't know that. So good on you, Dave. Historical reference there. I was not paying attention to that. Two, super fun band, right? Franz Ferdinand's a super fun band. This Fire, Take Me Out, Tell Her Tonight. I mean, there's some great songs coming out of that band. A lot of fun to listen to. But man, U2's Miss Sarajevo. I I love that song. I genuinely love that song. So yeah, so that's I'm gonna play that here before I enjoy some new music, I think, and dive into my Friday and my weekend. David, for all the shit that is presidential politics, look, I mean, there are a lot of things to celebrate, right? Great music, great entertainment, the freedom to enjoy all these things, the blessings of a successful economy where we can enjoy these things. America is such a great country filled with so many great people and people all over the world wanting to come here and be a part of it. Like I hope Americans don't lose sight of just how remarkable this great experiment is. Despite the Bidens and the Trumps and the politics and everything else that goes along with it, like this is a fantastic country. I love it. I love being an American. I've got the flag tattooed on my back. I love this nation. It's so great. And whether you're playing Atari or enjoying music or any of our other many blessings, like being able to do stupid podcasts, a few times a week, like I'm so grateful to enjoy it. And as we go to celebrate the fourth next week, I mean, God bless America. What an incredible blessing it is for not just all of us, but all the world. I mean, all the world, still the absolute greatest nation on earth, and still the greatest cause for hope, for freedom, liberty, and justice, despite all the things that are sideways and upside down right now.
Yeah, that's here, Andy. Well said. I will be leading our 4th of July parade as we go through our little neighborhood. It's real cute. All the kids get dressed up red, white, and blue. We do a costume, or we do a judging of costumes of vehicles of like scooters and bikes, who decorates the best there, and then
Nice.
of pets. So that'll be a fun time for us. But I'll be out front leading it with my big red, white, and blue top hat and my cane, Andy. So that'll be fun. So
I imagine we'll get pictures of this. I'm only hoping. I'm only hoping.
oh, you definitely will, Andy. You definitely will. So, all right, Andy, that's a good way to wrap up a pod. I know there's a lot of emotion in there because for a lot of reasons, right? I think that's we're tired of some of this shit. We can't believe some of this shit is still happening, but here we are.
Yeah.
But Andy, good discussion today. And I look forward to catching up with you next week. All right, Andy.